Hello, magandang araw. I'm Juke Angeles and I'm here to discuss about our first lesson for our subject, Trends, Networks, and Critical Thinking. So congratulations, you are now in your second sem. Konting kembot na lang, makaka-graduate na tayo. So we will start with the first one. The first lesson is the definition of trend. And then as you can see, the second set of lesson, we will focus on differentiating trend and fad. So, let's go. So, I want to start the lesson by establishing the connection between these two things. The first one is the cassette tape. Ayan, cassette tape, hindi na natin inabutan, pero that's a cassette tape. Familiar naman siguro tayo. And then the second thing is the pencil. So, as you can see, the pencil, yan, usually natin ginagamit lalo nung tayo nasa elementary. So, karaniwan sa ating mga estudyante ng grade 12 ay mga from Gen Z. So, being in the Gen Z, siguro medyo mahirap sa atin. Anong connection nitong dalawa na to? We can establish connection. Yes, you can logically answer that using the pencil, you can write on your cassette tape and put labels. But then, if you are born in an earlier generation, just like the millennial and the Gen X generation, you can easily establish the connection between these two things. Now, originally, yan, kung kayo ipinanganak tulad namin, you can explain this right away. That this particular technology, the cassette tape, it requires you to have a cassette tape player. And you can play music using this particular technology. But then, once you have played the music, there is a requirement. You have to rewind it. You have to rewind it. And if you do not have the player, you can easily use the pencil to rewind the cassette tape. So, that's the connection between these two. Now, bakit ko pinakita to? Because these things defines our generation. Itong mga bagay na to, ito yung parang nagbibigay na nagpapakilala sa mga generation kung nasan tayo. Like for example, a while ago, you don't know the connection between these two. So, for today, we will discuss about these things. These are the sample of what we call the trend. We will talk about the trend and we will try to explain and define what is a trend. So, let's go to the next one. Now, I have here a definition. This is our definition for the class. So, it is defined, a trend is generally course of prevailing tendency. It is a drift to tend to take a particular direction and be currently popular. So, medyo malalim. Let's try to comprehend ano yung ibig sabihin niya piece by piece. Tilad-tilarin natin so we can fully understand. So, the first one, it's a course. It's a prevailing tendency. When we talk about prevailing tendency, it means that uh, it's like it has this predictive capability. Trend has this predictive capability wherein individuals, because this is the trend, you can predict what will happen. You know the tendency. Like for example, I'm a Gen Z individual, and right away because of this trend, I know that you will do this behavior. So it's a tendency. So everyone right now listening, we have each of us have these tendencies. So because of this trend, we can readily predict the tendency. Now the second definition, it says there, it is a drift. When we say drift, meaning uh, parang hinihila tayo. There is a force. It is kind of force that pulls us to do something. So that's why it's called a drift. And then the next one, uh, it tends to take a particular direction because it is a drift. It is pulling us towards a particular direction. And lastly, it is defined as to be currently popular. So right now, you can enumerate all the things that are popular, and those things we can know later if it's a trend or it's another thing. So this is the definition of trend. When we say it's a trend, Hindi ito yung usual natin na iniisip na trending lang 'to. So, trending siya, sumikat siya, trend na kaagad siya. Now, we will, explain trend in a more technical sense. So, let's go to the next one. Now, we have here another definition to elaborate the meaning of trend. So it says there that trend is the sequential pattern of change in recorded data, a change evidenced by a rise or fall of variables when measured between at least 2 points over time. So ito medyo technical na explanation niya. It's cited, we have the citation Gordon 2008. So it's a pattern. When we say pattern, it's a sequential pattern, meaning we have one dot here. That's the first data. We have another dot. That's the second data. We have the third dot. That's the third data. So those are data, recorded data. And now, when we talk about trend, we are somehow interpreting kung ano yung nagaganap dun sa data natin. What's happening in our data. So when it's a change, meaning, let's for example, uh, I walk 5 meters, 50 meters in day one. I walk 75 meters in day two, and then I walk 100 meters in day three. So given those data, we can easily determine that there's an increasing trend of the distance that I walk. Okay, so according to Gordon, that's how he defined trend. It's a measure between variables. So now we are having this technical definition of trend. So now, as you can see, you can apply this to different subjects. In your research, you have this data. Now, in interpreting those data, you are actually making and interpreting these trends. So let's go to the next one. Now, because of our discussion, siguro readily you can determine kung ano yung mga bagay na uso ngayon, ano yung mga trending, tama? But let's try to dig deeper and explain kung ano ba talaga yung trends. Trends ba talaga to or it's another thing? So it says there, for elaboration, trends must pass basic tests of significance, a change that affects a wide range of people and that has a broad social, economic, cultural, spiritual, and political implications. So with that particular definition, uh, parang sinasabi natin na hindi basta uso lang siya, trend na kagad siya. Unang-una, kailangan itong change na ito, itong trend na ito ay nakakaapekto sa maraming individual. Pangalawa, kung titignan natin, it has a broad since a lot of people are being affected, hindi lamang isang aspeto or one aspect is being affected. Okay? It should include different aspects like social, pakikipagkapwa natin, economic, how we purchase the goods or consume the product, cultural, how it affects our culture, in our Filipino culture, how these trends are affecting our culture, spiritual and political implications. Spiritual, meaning hindi ito yung spiritual na pagsamba natin or pag-venerate natin sa higher being. Pwedeng yung mga motives natin. And then, for political implications, syempre hindi ito yung parang about the negative side of politics na corruption. Pwedeng when we say political, it's how we abide with the laws, how we behave in a particular community that we are living in. So now let's go to the next one. So actually, this is the last definition that we will discuss today. So it says there, trend is significant, have broad implication in all aspects of society, identifiable and explainable. While this is the second term that I want you to remember. It's called fad. So let's continue. While fad is transitory or quick, affect only a particular group of people without impact and driven by emotions. So that's our second concept to be remembered today. It's called fad. So to elaborate, fad is an intense and widely shared enthusiasm for something, especially one that is short-lived and without basis in the objective's qualities. It's a craze. So now, with this definition, I want you to evaluate and reflect. Yung mga bagay ba na iniisip natin kanina, is it a trend or is it another thing? We call it fad. Fad lang ba siya? Or it's a trend, mas malawak at mas malaking impluwensya niya. So, that's it. These are the two definitions that I want you to remember. And please, go to your respective activities assigned to you and finish the output. Now, I want you to think about this. The things that we know right now, na uso, sikat, trend ba talaga siya? Ano, marami ba yung naapektuhan niya at maraming aspeto? Okay? Or fad, mabilisan, quick, transitory. When we say transitory, nagpapalit-palit agad, napapalitan. Affect only a particular group of people, small people lang yung na ano, hindi naman siya umabot sa pamalakihan na pagbabago sa society. And karaniwan, this fad, ito yung sobrang bilis. Ano? Kung sabihin nila, sobrang bilis sumikat, parang sobrang bilis din nalaos. So those things are called fad. So now, you have the knowledge about trend and fad. You can easily answer the activities that will follow in this video. So thank you for listening, and I hope you had a good time listening to our lesson. So see you again.